Mr. Gino, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great.
Would you just take a minute, and for those that live under a rock and don't know who you are, just explain who is the man, the myth, the legend?
Well, I don't know if it's a legend, but my name is Gino Marino from Gino's Restaurant. Of course, it's a family business.
Yeah.
Started by my mother back in 1966 on the old, right next to the Julio's Brothers. It's used to be a little building. Then it was after we left, it was Rama. It was a Thai restaurant. And sad to say, I never stepped foot in there since we left.
How did you and your family get into the restaurant business? Because I mean, you're kind of like the godfather of Baton Rouge restaurant scene, aren't you? My friend Yvette introduced us, and we did some work together last year. We'll get to that later, but how did your family start in the restaurant business?
It's really an interesting story. I was going to Southeastern playing football, and
what part did you play? What position did you play?
Fullback. You can look at me. It's when I had fullbacks. Now there's no more fullbacks. So
you're a fullback at Southeastern.
Yeah.
Okay. What year was this?
This was in '69.
Okay.
But I was a Catholic guy before that, playing football too. But anyway, going back to the restaurant, my uncle and my father had a liquor store. You know where the overpass merchant is?
Yes.
That used to be M&M Liquor.
Okay.
Marino and Marino. And there were two brothers that were in the liquor business. And this is how the restaurant started. There was a little building that came up for rent that Mr. Stabler owned. Mr. Stabler had Overpass Cleaners, which is right across the street. This is taking Perkins Road way back then. I mean, like it's not seen today. And so my father kept looking at that building, and it was for rent. And he wanted to get my brother into something.
Okay.
You know,
like every dad, every good dad wants to.
Every dad's gonna worry about every child. You know, well, my brother was not the school type. Right. He just didn't want to go to school. He barely got out of high school. He just didn't want to go. Didn't want to go to trade school. He was really worried about.
I bet he was fun at parties though.
Yeah, he was a partier. There's one in every family. You know that.
Right. I'm one of 6. I got one too.
There's one in every family.
So dad's looking for something for him to do.
You're right, exactly. So this little building came up, and he knew I had a future in football. I had some offers, college offers. So, and my sister, you know, she was working at a bank, and so she was good. So he's really worried about my brother Lawrence. And this building came up, and he asked Mr. Stabler, he said, Harry, how much you want for the building to rent? He said, $150 a month.
60s
and
money.
It was a small building. It was actually a dress shop. It wasn't even a restaurant.
Okay.
It was a dress shop. It was just a block, no windows, no nothing. So he thought about it, and he said, I want to rent it. And just like any good Italian, he talked him down to $125.
I thought the Indians were the one that did that, but I get it.
$125 a month, you know. So I said, okay, we got a deal. Back then, it was all a handshake, you know.
Right.
That's the way business was done.
Yeah.
So he got my brother. He said, we're going to open up a little small Italian restaurant. So my brother said, that's great. So that's for you, for your future, you know, for something to get into.
Could your brother cook?
No, he didn't cook. This is where it gets interesting.
Okay.
It gets really interesting that my brother didn't cook, but they hired a chef, and a Sicilian chef.
Yeah.
He'd come off of one of the ocean line cruise ships, but he's a very good chef. His name was Manuele. I still remember him. Little short guy, just typical Italian, short mustache. But, you know, chefs, very egotistic, you know.
They can be.
Oh, my God. So anyway, make a long story short, they dress it up. They put the atmosphere in there. They get the tables. They had to add the bathrooms because it was not a restaurant. The passcodes and everything.
Lots of renovations.
Lots of renovations. They get ready to open. Manuel is the chef. My brother's working the front. I'm going to school playing football. And my mother is sitting at home cooking for my cousins, my Uncle Joe, my dad. Everybody was working, but she would cook all day long for everybody.
By the way, that is the vision I have of an Italian mum.
Yeah, exactly. It's an Italian mother.
Right.
So she was working, and the restaurant opens, and the food was really, really good. It was,
cool.
I mean, it was the Manuele, Chef Manuele was really good, except for one thing. They could not take criticism. You know, like a lot of chefs. That's what I was telling you. A lot of chefs have big egos. So as they're going on and business is booming, so Lawrence is asking the people, how's everything? And they say, Lawrence, everything is wonderful, great, except the sauce, it's a little spicy, you know.
He criticized the sauce.
Yeah, I said the sauce is a little spicy. Well, he says, well, some people like it spicy, but he kept getting that you know.
It was reoccurring criticism.
Yeah, and criticism about the sauce. So he went and told Manuela, the chef. He said,
How'd that
Manuela,
go?
it didn't go very well. That's where my mother comes in.
Okay, tell me about it.
So goes to Manuela. Manuela, the people say the sauce is a little spicy. What you mean it's a little spicy? Is it just cut back on the pepper, or is, you know, the taste of it is a little spicy for me. So I told him to cut back on the pepper.
And what did he do?
Well, a couple of nights, same criticism. The sauce is spicy. But second time he went to him, Manuele, the chef, goes to the table and tries to explain in his broken English Italian that American people don't know what they're talking about. And that's when my brother went berserk.
Yeah.
He pulled him in the back and literally, my brother's a pretty big guy, threw him out the door.
Okay.
So he's that
Now you have a
finished.
restaurant without a chef.
Right. So my mother was sitting at home cooking. So my mother, what we gonna do? You know, she's worried about Lawrence. So I come over there. So she came to, I think they shut down for a couple of days. I don't remember. So she came over there and started cooking. Kept some of Manuela's dishes and started cooking home style, her way. The sauce, the way she made it at the house. Now you got to think about this. The place only sits 32, 34 people.
Okay.
Very small.
We'll call it
like a
intimate.
big house. Yeah. The big Italian family.
Right.
So she started cooking her way, and now it caught fire. The people are really pouring in there.
I mean, you know what they say, right? It's like you know, people are looking for food the way Mama used to cook it.
Yeah,
and she bought it in a restaurant.
That was our motto, you know. Gino's when Mama still does the cooking when she was here.
What was the journey? I mean, was it steady or was it up and down from then to now? Because I know Gino's over on corporate. That's where I kind of I wasn't born and raised here, so
Yeah.
that's where I know you from. So how did
Well,
you
I mean,
get
the place was small, you know, and you know, like I say, by that time, just years have gone by. My mama's now cooking. She kind of started introduced arancini to Baton Rouge.
It's one of my questions.
That's an interesting question, and I'm gonna get to that in a minute. And she introduced family style cooking. Now there were some things that she tried to do, you know, a true Sicilian cuisine. And back in the 60s, that was, you know, for instance, calamari. And, you know, she'd fry it and put it out there, and people say, "Ooh, I go red snapper fishing with that. I use that for bait." You know, arancini. She would serve it like it's served in Sicily. It's a street food. She would serve it on a plate with no sauce. Well, being in South Baton Rouge, everybody wants sauce.
Bit of a
So
culture.
9 out of 10 Arancinians that came out, 9 of them came back. Can you tell Mama to put some sauce? So Mama's finally said, from now on, Arancina goes to sauce. Goes to sauce.
So she was listening to the customers.
Sure. And so, just fava beans, She would make a plate with pasta and fava beans. People say, fava beans? Yo, eat that? I feed my horses fava beans. Now it's a big culinary trend.
Yeah.
You pick up every food magazine now, you got fava bean pesto, fava bean puree on top of tuna. Fava bean is in every food magazine you can imagine. Yeah. And it's a big delicacy now. But it was just funny. So some things she took off and she kept on. But when she took over, business went through the roof. Because, and she had a little window with a little bell. They had 2 waiters, and she had 1 helper in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And that was it. And that place, they would open at 11 o'clock for lunch, 11 to 2 for lunch, just like we still had the hours today. Open at 11, by 11:30, 11:45, there'll be a line outside. People waiting, in line.
How much of that was the home cooking, the traditional food, and how much was the atmosphere? I'm trying to get a picture.
It was a combination of both, Stuart, because we had checkered tablecloth.
You had a what?
Checkered tablecloth, in a red and white checkered tablecloth. Mm-hmm. We had a Chianti bottle with a candle. So the atmosphere, Italian music playing, authentic Italian music, mm-hmm. and Mama ringing that bell and screaming at the waiters that come. It was home style as you could get.
Right. Come to the dining room table.
It's really funny because I was telling the story this weekend at the restaurant.
Okay.
Everybody brings that up. But anyway, Lawrence and my mother, I was involved in the restaurant back then on a day-to-day basis. Their beer cooler was a big igloo ice chest, and she had some Italian man section it off into 4 sections,
yeah.
And she served Slits, Falstaff, Jacks, and Dixie. I remember those. And the waiter's job was to fill them up and ice them down between shifts.
Right.
This is really funny. Their draft beer cooler was an old 5-cent cranked down Coca-Cola machine, gutted it out, threw a keg in there, punched a hole through the wall, went on the other side and put a spigot in there. Draft beer, baby. Now that's home style as you can get.
Making it work. That's fantastic.
No reservations, no checks, no credit cards, cash only.
Right.
And that went on for 10 years. So moving forward, after I graduated from Southeastern in 1974, I had a job offer in South America, and I said, even though I had a 5-year scholarship and everything paid for, my mother and my family always supported me at Southeastern, bought me a new car, clothes. I said, I owe it to, number 1, my family, and number 2, to myself to try the family business, the restaurant business. Again, the first it was for Lawrence, but now it's became a family business because people are waiting at the door. I mean, it's going through the roof, and this is every day.
Yeah.
Every day. So I said, now it's become a family business. My mother's involved. Lawrence is involved. My daddy would, after he closed, he'd walk across the street. He'd work over there. So I passed up the South American job. I said, I got to go work at the restaurant, at least try it. And I said, but you never know these Italian family businesses, you know.
Can get
It
volatile.
it can go south. So I tried it, and it was unbelievable. I mean, people everywhere. I mean, like again, it only sat 34 people, I think 36, but somehow she squeezed 40 in there or something. You know, we managed to
Like
get.
a good mama, so she doesn't say no.
I mean, if you
Come
did,
on in here. Let's pull up a chair.
oh yeah, they were so tight in there. If you actually did this,
Right.
you won the next table. I mean, it's crazy. Real low lights, very, very low lights, and coming out, and people would always trip after the first table, run into the first table, because you couldn't see coming from daylight.
Right, right.
Very dark, checker tablecloth, candlelight, only just about.
So when did you outgrow that location, and where'd you move to?
Well, that's is when so I worked with them 1 year, and she had this Italian butcher in North Baton Rouge that, we'd run out of stuff. We had to go back to the butcher. She was just, the people from the old country, they set in their own ways, and it's hard to change them. I said, Mama, we need a new place. No, we don't. No, we don't in Italian. No, we don't. This is good. This is good. What's good about it? We got to go pick up meat twice a day. We have to go to the store to get green onions and lettuce and better store,
Right, right.
What? Look at your beer cooler, ice chest. Look at this. Look at that. She said, that's so good. No, it's not good. Look at the people waiting outside in the cold, in the sun. And finally, I told my brother, I said, Lawrence, I need some help on this. We need a bigger place. And he agreed with me.
So you
It was not set up efficient.
You both tag teamed Mama to try and convince
We
her.
went against I said, Mama, look, me and Lawrence said, we need this. We need a bigger place. So she kind of got the funja. Funja means pouting, Thought about it. She said, okay, we're still looking for a bigger place. So we looked and looked and looked. Between 2 and 5, we'd be close. If we didn't go out to pick up meat from the butcher, we would go be looking for places with a Polaroid camera. So we're looking everywhere. We're strip shopping centers, too high traffic, can't get in and out, had all kind of flaws.
Yeah.
So we were looking one day, and we went down Bennington Avenue, and there was a sign that said happy hour. And my brother Lawrence said, pull in here, let's get a drink and go over all these pictures we got and talk about what we just seen. He said, I think I know the guy that I went to high school that runs the place. So he did. We went in there and we had a couple of drinks. And it was called Ireland's, like the country.
Yeah.
And it was an Irish pub. Green carpet, lime green wallpaper.
You're talking to a gentleman from the British Isles, and Irish pubs in America, let's just say that they're not very authentic.
Let me rephrase it. It wasn't an Irish pub. It was a franchise.
Okay.
Out of Nashville, Tennessee.
Right.
They tried to duplicate an Irish pub,
Right.
but it was not. But it was green carpet. All of it was one big dining room on one side, another dining room on the other side, which back then it was smoking and non-smoking side,
Yep.
and the bar in the middle. But it was all open. Captain chairs. We had no idea we were going to end up with this place at that time. So we just never went in there for drinks. So we kept looking. About 2 months goes by. My brother comes to the old place and says, "You're not ready. We just closed." I said, "What?" He said, "Remember that place, Ireland's, we went to get a drink at?" I said, "Lawrence, are you crazy? That thing is huge. It's big." Again, rule of thumb, they say in the restaurant business back then, if you're going to grow 2.5 times of, so let's say we sat 40 people, 2.5 times. We were looking about a place for about 100, 110 with a small bar could fix up. But this thing was, I mean, it sat 220 at when we took over it.
Did you know that rule at that time?
Yeah, but I told my brother, I said, "Yo, are you crazy? That place is huge. I mean, that's not what we're looking for." So, but it was through the bank, and we knew the banker, so we took a shot at it. And they gave us like 4 or 5 months to renovate, and the whole time the other place is still running, still open. So it was not like opening up a new place. It was like the whole place is still running and momentum is building. When you going to open a new place?
Yeah.
The whole time we're working there with painters. We're changing this, we're changing that. We're dropping the ceiling. We're putting stucco walls. We're taking the carpet out. We're putting, brick floors in, copper tables. It was a tremendous.
How long did that take?
It took about 6 months.
Yeah. So for 6 months, you and your family were running an active restaurant and trying to build a bigger one.
So going back, it was anticipation as we get close to opening up. We're about to open up. And at Southeastern Louisiana University, they didn't teach me how to run a restaurant, even though I was a marketing major. It's boots on the ground. That's the best way. Here we are, opening up this new place, and then we opened up in March the 3rd, 1975, at this current location. So I didn't know nothing about, my family didn't know nothing about soft openings. We had about 5 people that worked for us, that worked at the old place. Now I got 18 waiters. I got cocktail waitress at a bar. I got bartenders, hostess, a dishwashing area.
So you went from the 5 to like a full-on operation and like...
My God.
How was the transition? I'm laughing because I'm beat.
It was suicidal. That's the best way to it took us. I mean, because again, it was momentum building up, and I'll never forget that day when I went over the menu with the waiters, but I didn't know about soft openings. We, okay, we ready? Let's open the door. They jerked the door from me. I looked outside. There was cars all the way to College Drive from Bennington Avenue.
Amazing.
It was one of the most scariest things I ever seen in my life.
You're like, kitchen, get ready.
They just all came in.
Yeah.
And everything, and we cut it down to about from 220. I think we cut it down to about 206.
That's a huge.
Still huge,
yeah.
Huge. That's a monster.
How did your mama handle that?
We didn't. It took us. This is where it gets really. It almost didn't happen. Everything you could imagine could go wrong in the restaurant business went wrong.
Yeah.
It was a runaway train. We couldn't get a hold of it because, usually when you open a new business, you don't advertise, you trickle in soft openings now, and just little by little, and you start making mistakes, and you start, going behind and you're gonna make mistakes in this business, and you learn by it. Well, these people just rushed in. Thank God that I had some really good customers from the old place, and they saw how hard we were working as a family. My mother had, it was her and one other lady over there. She might have had 10, 12 people in the kitchen. She didn't know what to do. And appetizers, entrees were coming out before appetizers. I was comping check after check. I was apologizing to people. It was way too much. I was pretty much spending the night at the restaurant. I would get up at 7 in the morning, go home, take a shower, change clothes, and come back and work all the way at night. Paperwork, this. The business was there, but it was out of control.
Yeah, you just had to
I didn't know what
scale.
talking about no food cost. I don't know what. I mean, it was just a runaway train.
Yeah, you had a lot of success with the first location, and
Yeah,
you didn't know what you didn't know.
exactly.
So
I mean,
how long did it take before you kind of balanced it out?
about 6 months.
6 months.
They're saying it took us 6 months to get the bull by the horn.
Yeah.
We started figuring out what. I mean, we could have had people lined up from there from Bennington to Albertsons, and would have never made money because everything was out of whack.
Yeah.
Labor cost, food costs. Your main thing. Those two things are got to go hand in hand.
Yeah.
If you don't have those in control, you're never gonna make money in the restaurant business. Everything was out of control. I mean, I was comping, giving, and I don't know what they were throwing away in the kitchen. It's a combination of things.
Lots of little things.
Oh my God! And then finally, after 6 months, we started narrowing down the crew. The payroll got smaller. The staff got smaller, and more efficiently. Buying, the way we were buying things, and we narrowed down our suppliers. Everything came, and it took us about 6 months to get the bull by the horn.
And that's the location you're in now.
And that's the location we're in now. And my mother's at the helm. She handled the kitchen. Me and my sister. Now my sister came into the business because it was a big place. And my brother, we handled everything else. But Mama ran the kitchen, and she ran it. She ran it her way.
So obviously, Mama's passed, and so we talk about her in the past tense, and it's she's not here right now, so maybe she's listening. I don't know, but
she's here.
So I just want to what have you? It is a good question. What's is there anything on the menu today that was on the menu when you opened in that first location?
Oh yeah.
Give me.
I mean, all the traditional Italian dishes are there, still there, same intact. We hadn't expanded them, or we hadn't taken none of them off. Pretty much, I have several old menus from the restaurant, and it's really funny. I was looking at one not too long ago, just to show you how inflation works. Arancini was 85 cents.
Yeah.
Veal Parmesan was $1.25.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
just
crazy.
to give you an idea.
So is there anything on the menu that you have improved upon whatever your mom did?
Well,
yeah, that's a loaded question.
That's a loaded question.
If she was here, it'd be like, nope, nothing has changed.
Everything is pretty much everything intact. The only thing that, she was instrumental in this, what I'm fixing to say. Well, of course, in being Louisiana, crawfish is a big delicacy. So she's the one that said, because the original arancini is ground meat with sauce, peas, Parmesan cheese, lightly fried, and topped off with red sauce.
Right.
Against their will, but that's the way it goes. So she's the one. She says, everybody like crawfish. I'm gonna make a crawfish arancini and see if you like it. So one day she came out. She put this arancini that had like a pink sauce on it. It was not a red sauce. She said, I want you to try it. Me and my brother and my sister. So we ate it. And what it was full of crawfish tails. And it had Parmesan cheese, but the pink sauce was a combination of two sauces, a little bit lighter, that would complement the crawfish being a seafood.
Yeah.
And it took off like wildfire.
Well, my wife and I came to your restaurant for our anniversary last year, and I had the crawfish arancini, and it is absolutely delicious.
Oh, the people, and Mama used to always, she was a freak about fresh ingredients. So when it's not crawfish season, we don't do crawfish arancini.
Okay.
Even though everybody has, it's just my mama's wish.
She likes
You
it
know.
fresh.
She was and that's probably, you know, the success that we've had. But her theory and her thinking, good products in, your end product's gonna be good.
Yeah, so I would have loved to have met your mom. What a character.
Amazing, amazing lady, you know. And going back to the Epicurean Society, when these young restaurateurs wanted to be the first recipient and the namesake of the award, because of, I said, why y'all pick my mama? I said, Gina, this is what she represents, what the restaurant business is about. You know, the hours, the commitment, the sacrifices you have to make, and the passion that she has. That's, as a young restaurateur, that's what we look up to. She is unanimous. We want her for the, and I said, this is going to be quite a job trying to tell her, because my mother didn't like accolades. She was a very simple person. She did what she loved, and that was cooking.
What is it about, your mom, you, or really anyone in the restaurant business, so you've had the same menu for all those years. Like, what is it about preparing that or creating that experience that keeps you engaged and lit up? What is it about work that you still love after all these years?
Well, I love people. Believe me, this is not an 8 to 5 job.
Yeah.
It's 12, 14, 15 hours. I've worked 17-hour days. It's not everybody's cut out for the restaurant business. You have to either love it or you're in the wrong business. I tell people, I have like a lot of young people, Mr. Gino, I want to talk to you about opening up, and I tell them we're going in. I said, you sure you want to do this? I said, but it's a commitment. It's not 8 to 5. You can't just, can't be there all the, you got to be there all the time. You can't be there, I'm going to take a day off. And especially if it's got your family name or your name on it, people want to see you. And they want to see, I'll make this statement, Stuart, because I made this statement not too long ago. We just celebrated 60 years.
Amazing.
And I made the statement that out of those 60 years, there's never been one day at Gino's where at least one of us is there.
That's
Most
amazing.
of the time it's 2, 3, or the whole family, because it becomes your life. It becomes your home. You go there, I tell people, I kid around with people, I say, oh yeah, this is like the Roach Motel, one way in and no way out. Once you come in that door in the morning, if you really want to succeed in it and do well in it, you gotta put the work in.
Yeah.
Just like anything else, I mean, you can take it to athletics, you can take it in any other business. The old saying, you get out of it what you put into it.
I believe that there was some coach, maybe not Saban, someone, he said, talking to a whole bunch of fresh college students that want to play football, and they said, goodbye, show of hands, how many of you want to, get an offer from a Division I? I can tell you how to do it. Said you take that ball and you throw it at a target 100 times every single day.
Yeah.
If you do that, you'll get an offer from a D1 college. It's true. You've got to put in the time.
Well, going back to football, they said that football, in the meantime, you got to understand, I came from another country. I came here when I was 8 years old. I was 8, my sister was 10, and my brother was 12. Could not speak one word of English. We came here to join my dad that was in the liquor business with his brother. He called us over. So, going back to the old days, I didn't know what football was. I knew football, So
They
going
call
to
it
Catholic
soccer.
schools and playing, I was watching them play American football, all against all, in Catholic schools, trying to figure out this weird looking ball, you know, and I mean, what's the concept of the game? But anyway, make a long story short, they would say, come on, come play football. And I said, no, football, football. But anyway, I didn't play, I played organized football at St. Aloysius for the first time in the 8th grade. And and two good men, and God bless both of them, my coaches, Mr. Danton, Mr. Shore Thibault, took the time to teach me the plays, the rules, everything about football. And I went on to play at Catholic High, and then I was fortunate enough to get a 5-year scholarship at Southeastern University with a marketing degree. Through football, I was able to go to college.
Well done.
But the most important thing about football, just what you just brought up about that coach, is that, and I still apply football to the way I run the business, I learned so much more in football besides blocking and tackling. Because athletics, if you really take it in, it runs parallel to the game of life,
Yeah.
you know? And if you apply that to your business and the discipline and the hard work and that you have to put in to succeed, just like you do in that football field, you're going to succeed.
I'm going to clip that and share it with my eldest son. He's 16 right now. He's right on the edge of becoming an adult. He needs all that advice. His sport is tennis. I have a few questions for you. May I do a little rapid fire?
Okay.
Okay, so first question. I think I might have already asked this one, but let's do it anyway. So if Mama Grace were to walk into the kitchen today in 2026, she arrives in the restaurant, which current menu item would she most likely throw at you for improving?
That's a tough one.
You had a little spice here, a little spice there, something that made her slap your hand back in the day.
Boy, that's a tough one. I mean, because, everything on the menu, somebody came the other day and I tasted the sauce. Oh my God, your red sauce. He said, can I get the recipe? I said, recipe? That's Mama's recipe. Everything you see on this menu is Mama's.
Then the answer is no.
No.
Funny story. So I'm British by birth. And so I did not grow up in a culinary family. My wife, we're married 10 years in May. She is of Italian descent. So I meet this beautiful lady who I end up marrying. 3 months later, my dad comes over from England because I'm living here, right? So to meet the new girlfriend, to meet my now wife. She spends 3 days making a meat sauce. 3 days. I had never before seen a person, like I knew nothing about, I thought I knew what cooking was until I met my wife. Man, she cooks a really good meat sauce.
And that's what, Mama did. She used to always say, there's so much love through food. Mm-hmm. That's true.
My wife says the same thing.
No, that's true.
Did she,
there's so much love. Think about that through food. I mean,
it's a physical experience.
It's the culture that, your wife was probably raised in the environment. In Europe, it's a culture.
Yeah.
I mean, food is the most important thing. Food and wine. I can remember sitting in my grandfather's lap in Sicily and homemade wine, and he would let me taste it. And he said, oh, buono. Yeah. And I mean, it's a culture.
Yeah.
I mean, wine is on the table like, not water, wine is on the table. And food was the most important thing, it was just in the culture. And it was, when you prepared it, you put your heart and soul into it.
Yeah.
It's the love. and it shows in the end product.
You can still taste it at your restaurant today.
Yeah.
So you've been serving arancini since 1966. Is there a correct way to eat an authentic arancini?
Yes, it is.
What is that way?
That way, it's a street food. In Sicily, if you go to Sicily, it's a street food. You walk by and they have these heated cases. Now, the original, now they make different versions now, but the original back then is like with ground meat, peas, it's got Parmesan cheese. The meat is sauteed with red sauce in it, not overpowering, and then they put it in, they stuff it in the rice, and they put a batter and breadcrumbs. They lightly fry it, and they put it in the heat cases. As you walk by in Sicily or all over now, they might see them in, I think in Rome they call them souffles, but it's kind of like a version. But it's a Sicilian specialty. It's a street food. So you walk by and you go to the heated case and say, give me an arancini, and they give it to you in a wax paper, and you walk and you eat. There's no red sauce. And this is where, and I told you earlier, when she opened the restaurant, she tried to serve it
Like that?
on a plate. And being in South Louisiana, everybody wanted red sauce. But the funniest thing was, and we still laugh about it, because now when Mama made, when she made that commitment, from now on, arancini's going to come with red sauce.
So I know that food changes a lot regionally, but do they serve it with red sauce, or is Gino's like a unique thing, like to get arancini with red sauce? Have you ever seen that anywhere else?
No, but that's what I was getting at, that we still laugh about. Then all these restaurants that came after us that opened up and closed, that thought arancini was with red sauce, came with red sauce.
That's funny.
And it doesn't.
Well, that answers question number 2. Question number 3. The customer is always right. True or false?
True to a certain extent.
Okay.
To a certain extent.
Where is that extent?
That extent is when you have people drinking too much.
Oh, yeah.
Being, there's a way of talking to people, if cursing. Some people just don't have very ethical, or just don't know any better. That's out of line, and that's when I step in. But other than that, what we tell our staff, the customer is always right.
Yeah.
In many respects.
Yeah, as long as it's all
respect that. I mean, sometimes we get, and if my mother was here, she wouldn't do it, but we do it. Somebody says they want noodles with white sauce, and then they want some green pesto in it. My mama would have never done it. And she would just, they make up their own stuff. Very seldom. So what we do, and to honor Mama, we'll give it to them on the side.
Right.
Say, you make it at the table.
Here's what we say. Yeah, you can put it together yourself.
So we honor both. We honor my mother, and then we honor the customer.
All right, 2 more questions. So, I mean, like I said, I go to Gino's when I want to, be fancy with the wife. It's kind of like the date night location, right? It's a very nice place to go. But I was just wondering, so in your 50 plus years, you must have seen a lot of couples on a date night. When you watch these couples come in, is there something that if they do that, that there won't be date number 2? I know, wow. You've 60 years going around you. I've seen some stuff.
I mean, I've seen some crazy things in that restaurant.
Right.
And, but I mean, I won't go into it because it's really funny and crazy.
Right.
Crazy things. But, so you're asking me, out of all the date nights and stuff, people to come there. Like for right now for Valentine,
I guess it's
we've been,
dating advice from Gino. That's what I'm looking for. Like what not to do when you're out on a date.
oh, well, I mean, I see these young people. I mean, my advice to them is to be confident. You're in control. You know what you're ordering and what you recommend. And if you have tune your game up before you come, I would recommend doing that.
A little prep ahead of time goes a long way.
Sure.
Goes a long way.
And let me take this a little step further. And I really enjoy watching this because nowadays, the wine scene, wine is a big conversation piece now,
Yeah.
and the wine sales are through the roof. We sell a tremendous amount of wine because, the atmosphere. You can get a $40 bottle all the way to hundreds of dollar bottle, but to see the young generation coming in and knowing a little bit about wine and have some knowledge, but that's because of this,
Yeah.
which is great for the whole industry, for the restaurant, for the wine industry, but it's really good for me to go to a table and I see this young man, 19, 20 years old, and like I say, it's because of that, which is good, talking to me about vintages, and varietals and winemakers. I'm really impressed. So they've really stepped up from the wine scene, unbelievable. Just altogether, the palace in Baton Rouge have really gotten a whole lot better, especially in wine and food too. And food, we've got some great restaurants in Baton Rouge, but in wine, it's through the roof. I couldn't give away Pinot Noir years back, but of course the movie Sideways put it on the map. But now I got 45 wines by the glass. I have 4 Pinot Noirs by the glass. And 20 years ago, 30 years ago, I couldn't give a Pinot Noir away. I tried to serve Zinfandel, and the lady sent it back and said, this is red. I said, that's Zinfandel. But that's how far Baton Rouge has come.
Yeah, I've noticed.
And it's really refreshing to see young people, especially with the wines. And they're doing very well with the food. That's why I say if you see a young man bring his date in there and Valentine's, be confident, know what, you're in charge.
What's your go-to wine? Do you have a go-to or two?
Wow, that's probably the hardest question you could ask me.
I bet you've tried an awful lot.
I love wine.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I don't drink liquor.
I enjoy wine too.
I'm not a wine expert by no means. Let's just say I'm genuine wino.
I think I might fall in that category as
I
well.
tell people, the best way to learn about wines, you can read all the books. You can
try some.
In the glass. It's in the glass.
Yeah.
You smell it, you taste it, it's what you like. As I could say, Stuart, I can tell you until I turn blue in the face, this wine is unbelievable. It's got this rating, it's got this, it's got that, boom. And you taste it, you say, it's okay. And this might be $90. You could probably find a great one that you like. It's what you like.
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong in wine.
It's literal chemistry.
There's no right or wrong.
And then it's the atmosphere you're in, and it's the food you're pairing it with, and it all matters.
Just like music, it's what you like.
Yeah.
I can tell you about me. You got to listen to the song. It's fabulous.
Right.
And you say it's okay. Yeah. Same thing with wine. But I drank a lot of wine, so I know what I like. And,
Right.
But I got into it a little bit more. I go to Napa a lot. I go to Italy and wine country. I put in some time with wine, and so I feel pretty confident when I suggest something, especially in Italian. Napa, that's my strong points. That when I recommend, at the at the restaurant, I'm pretty confident what to recommend, and I'll recommend some stuff. I mean, some of the stuff I have by the glass is fabulous.
Right.
I mean,
Well, last time I came and filmed at your place, we were talking afterwards, and I think you were planning a trip back to Sicily or something. Did you go?
yeah,
How'd that go? How was the
it
trip?
was fabulous. I took my daughters and my sons back and my wife, and spent 15 days strictly in Sicily. I mean, I've been up and down the boot many times when Mama was living, and we used to go up and down the boot and always end up in Sicily. She used to close the restaurant for, for the whole month of July, and we'd go back to Italy
That's
and
nice.
Sicily.
Yeah.
And you know, really that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. And I see why she did it, because she was just full of joy. And I mean, she didn't have to worry about that phone call. She didn't have to worry about anything going wrong.
Focused on that one thing.
Just enjoying her family, enjoying where we're at all together, the food, it's just everything. And so this past last summer, I shut it down for 2 weeks, and I went back, and I tell you, I would do it again tomorrow.
Nice.
And because that's the only way you can enjoy an overseas trip back to your country, back to where you were born. And it was such a great trip. I took my kids. I showed them the house I was born in, the church that me and my brother and my sister got baptized in. I turned to the left. The baptism was still there. I walked in that church, and well, I mean, I've been back before that, but my kids never seen this. I stood there, and then it just brought chills to me. It just brought memories. Nothing has changed. The crucifix was the same. Everything was the same. Beautiful church in a small town.
Yeah.
And they were just like, and they were just so emotional. They just couldn't believe it, you know. I showed her the house, the street, the garden that my grandfather had, and it was an unbelievable experience. But I was able to enjoy that because now I know. I made the comment. I said, "Mama, I know why you closed the restaurant. Because it's the only way to enjoy a trip like that."
How fast has 60 years passed? How fast did it go?
I'm sorry,
How fast has 60 years gone?
it's really been fast. I mean, it don't seem, when you do something from the heart and you love what you do, it's different.
Yeah.
It's a different feel. Yeah, it's hard, it's tough, it's a tough business, it's long hours, absolutely. There's no shortcuts in this business. And it becomes your life. When you get there in the morning and you don't leave till night, yeah, it's hard work, but next day comes like that. So it's really gone by. I myself can't believe it's been 60 years.
Wow.
And it's been great. I mean, it's been great. People tell me all the time, "Gina, how long you gonna keep doing this?" And I'll think about it. I say, you know what? I said, God willing, I'm in great physical shape. Spiritually, I'm in a good place. Emotionally, I'm in a good place. I'm going to try to beat my mama's record. And she passed at 94.
I think
And
you're
they
gonna
look at
make
me
it.
and they're just like, but that's the love, and that's from the heart. It's just, I don't play golf. I don't fish. I don't hunt. I'm not a book reader. I don't watch TV series. I watch football or sports. I mean, this is. I got my two sons in the back. I got my sister. I got long-term employees. This is my love.
Yeah.
This is my love. And it takes a special woman to be married to a restaurant man. I must say.
Well, listen. I mean, I know I don't speak just for myself. But thank you for investing all that time. You have truly a unique spot in Baton Rouge, and you're right there at the middle of Baton Rouge food, and a spot well earned, man. Really
Well,
appreciate it.
thank you very much. We just our goals to, every day when I hire a new employee, I said, look, we're not corporate, we're not multi-unit. I'm not going to throw a book at you, an employee manual. I say to work at Gino's, you just have to have common sense. But one thing I want you to remember, and that we do every day, that's to live my mama's legacy. That's all I'm gonna tell you.
Well, I feel it when I come.
And mama's legacy is looking at the little things and working together and working hard and making things go. I know, it's hard to get, especially nowadays. Just the work ethics are not there like they used to be. So it's hard to get a team together to think. Everybody think the same way and pull the wagon the same direction. And that's why this business is very challenging nowadays. Very challenging.
Well, you make it look easy, Gino. From the outside looking in.
Like I say, I'm very blessed. It's that I've been given something that I really love. And when you do it with love, when you do it from the heart, just like food, it makes all the difference in the world.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you.